What's up, YouTube? This is TheAbsolute615. I got a Monarch Synchro update for you. In the past, I never really did updates, but I kind of want to start doing them now because I'm not sure if I'm going to be running any other decks. 3 copies of Ryza. These were still in the first build. Very solid. Set your opponent back maybe 1-2 turns depending on what you send back. We're picking up this build to Caius the Shadow Monarch. He's arguably the best Monarch aside from Ryza because he removes, and there's not a lot of stuff that stops that. We're picking up 2 Cyber Dragons because the last build was kind of slow. I don't know, these guys are iffy because sometimes they get dead in your hand if you don't top deck them soon enough, or sometimes they're just not enough. We're only going to play 2 copies of the Tricky this time because the Tricky, he's kind of like Cyber Dragon's brother, but sometimes you just have other cards that are otherwise dead in your hand and you want to clean out your hand, so to speak. So we're going to... He was at 3 last build. That's only because we weren't playing Cyber Dragons. 3 Thunder King Ryo. Decent beater. Obviously you're not going to dump this guy, but he just helps slow everything else down. Sometimes he can be all you need to kill a gadget player, or maybe I don't know, anything that special summons like a shit ton. 2 Cobalt. We were playing 3 last build, but now we're only going to cut it down to 2 because it was like clustering up in my hand a lot. Obviously you would hit this with the anything that you would use to dump, like the Trickier, maybe some of the later mentioned cards. 2 Junk Synchron. We were playing 3, but now synchroing is not the main focus of this deck anymore, so Monarch control is a little bit more important, but just having the ability to sync out is a plus. You're still gonna play 1 from 1, but you're not gonna have as many targets. You can either get Level Leader or Treeborn Frog. Obviously Treeborn is in here for Monarch control, and Level Leader is in here for a little bit of both Synchro and Monarch control. So you could go either way, but just usually you would probably go Treeborn if you had nothing to eat a level off of on the field, or a Level Leader if you already had a Monarch out. Foolish Burial still being played, but you only have the 1 target, which would be Dandelion. I've used this first turn set up for Monarchs or quick syncs, just to have something on the field so you can potentially Monarch next turn. 2 tokens is always amazing. 2 Quick Draw Synchron. We were playing 3, but I kept drawing into it late game and I didn't need it. I ended up pitching the 3rd one anyway, with Troll Warrior or the Tricky or something, just to get a quick out for a Pot of Avarice. Now we're only going to play 2. Plus, it's not really all that great. You draw into it, and you need it really limits your synchro. Still playing 2 Pot of Avarice. Excuse me. What can I say? It replenishes the hand. Giant Trunade and Double Mystical, because back row hate is still very essential in this deck because you play Monarchs and you want them to stay on the field. Monster Reborn, obvious. Book of Moon, still one of the greatest cards in the game, even if it is only at 1. We're picking up a Scapegoat this time around just because you don't have as many targets to synchro with, so the ability to get 4 tokens at will is actually the biggest thing you could do in the game with this deck, aside from your Monarchs. Reinforcement of the Army still being played for your obvious double Junk Synchron. Dark Hold. We're picking up 2 7 Tools of the Bandit just because back row is still very, very fucking annoying with this deck. Usually it's bottomless and such. And you're going to play double bottomless because it's at 2. Like I said in the last video, it would be amazing if it was at 3. Torrential Tribute because it's Torrential Tribute. Mirror Force, Staple, and Call is very staple. Your Synchro board is still actually very much the same. You just cut down on some other stuff. Magical Android and Junk Warrior are still being played for level 5 outs just because you have the option of not going Junk Warrior if you don't need to. 3 copies of Drill Warrior just because he's Drill Warrior and because sometimes you'll sink into him, draw one of your targets that needs to be in the graveyard. This is just basically an easier way to get them there. Plus, he gets to come back and you get something that you needed back from the graveyard, monster-wise. For level 6 outs that aren't Junk Synchron related, you have Iron Chain, Dragon, and Gaia Knight to Force of Earth. Iron Chain is good because he mills, and Gaia Knight is just one of those beat sticks that can get over Stardust. You have level 7 outs, 1 Junk Archer for the Junk Synchron play, and 1 Black Rose Dragon for the non-related Junk Synchron synchro. Also, you have level 8s like Junk Destroyer that make it possible for field clearance, though he's just not as potent as he could be in this build. You still play Stardust, but you cut him down to 2, just so you can make room for Scrap Dragon, and last but not least, you still play Mistworm, because it's still actually very possible to go Mistworm in this deck. That's the update. This is TheAbsolute615 saying peace out and enjoy the deck.